Okay, so the equation that I got was sine x minus pi over 2 plus 2. And so the first thing that we want to figure out is what our amp is, and the amp is just the A value. So for our amp, we just have 1. And in order to find our period, we just do 2 pi over our B value, and since our B value is x, that's just going to equal 2 pi over 1, which will essentially be just 2 pi. So our period is 2 pi. Okay, so the next step is to find our x values. So in order to do that, we have to use the equation bx minus c equals 0, and bx minus c equals 2 pi. So we're going to go ahead and start with this first one, and our b value is 1, so we're going to plug that in for bx, and we're going to get 1x, minus our c value, which is pi over 2, equals 0. And then we're just going to add pi over 2 to both sides to cancel those out. And we're going to be left with 1x equals pi over 2. So now, in order to get x alone, we want to divide each side by 1, which will cancel that out and leave us with x. And then that's just going to leave us with pi over 2. So this value right here is going to be our starting x value. Moving on to our next x value, we're going to plug 1 in for x again, and same with our c value for pi over 2, and we're going to set that equal to 2 pi. And we're going to do the same thing we did on the other side and add pi over 2 to each side, which will cancel out and leave us with 1x equals. And then for this part right here, we're going to do the bow tie method just to make things simpler. And so we're going to do 2 pi and pi over 2. And we're going to set 2 pi over 1. So we're going to go ahead and set this equal to 1x so we don't have to worry about it. And so now we're going to do the bottom half. So 1 times 2 is 2. And so we're just going to keep that right there. And then we're going to do 1 times pi, which is pi, plus 2 times pi, which is 4 pi. So then we're going to go back with 1x, set it all under 2. And we're going to get 5 pi over 2. So now we still have our x with a 1 next to it, and we need our x to be alone. So we're going to divide both sides by 1, just like we did on the other side, which that's going to cancel out and leave us with x equals 5 pi over 2. Okay, so now we're going to take 5 pi over 2 minus pi over 2, put it under 4, which is going to be 4 pi over 2 over 4, which is going to equal pi over 2. So our y values for this equation is just going to be 0, 1, 0, -1, 0. And our x values is, again, remember, it's going to start with pi over 2, pi, 3 pi over 2, 2 pi, and 5 pi over 2. Alright, so I've already gone and drawn my graph, and I just labeled my x and y axis, and I've got 1 and -1 with a 0, and then I've got all of my x values. And so now I'm just going to go ahead and plot my points. So the first one that we have is pi over 2 and 0. So we're just going to plot that right there. And then the second point we have is going to be pi 1. So that's just going to be about right here. Our third point is 3 pi over 2, 0. Our fourth point is 2 pi negative 1. And then our last point is 5 pi over 2 and 0. So now we're just going to go ahead and connect it, and when we do that, we're going to make sure that our end is up. Just like that. And that is how we graph sine x minus pi over 2 plus 2.